Welcome back to CHEESEBORGER TRIES. I have the finished and baked antlers. This time we're going to sand and paint, hopefully some of them at least. I did forget to record myself when I started. I started doing these. I forgot that I was going to sand them. I'll give you a rough idea of how I do it though. You take a piece of sandpaper, you lay the thing flat, and you just slide it around faster and for a longer time than that, of course. You do it on both sides, and eventually you get a pretty smooth surface. You can see the wire through this, but since I'm going to paint it, it doesn't matter. If you don't want to see the wire because you're not going to paint it, then I recommend using no wire or making the clay bit thicker. One of the most important things that I could think of in the process of sanding that to tell you that a lot of people seem not to know is to know when to call it quits with a piece of paper. It just isn't worth it to save a paper if it's no longer got tooth that's going to do the job. I mean, you can feel the difference between your papers. It's very easily. I just smack it on the side of the table to get the powder off. And then, like, if I feel here, very, very high grit, here, very little grit. That's how I know that the center of this is just, it's done. Now, is it worth trying to use the edge of this? Maybe. It depends on your project. I have a couple nooks and crannies in which I can get with these, or with the edges of these, but for the most part, it's not, it's not usually worth saving it. That's the most important thing, really, with sanding, is knowing when your paper is done. Because once the tooth is worn down, you're not getting you're not grabbing. It's not worth the effort anymore. You're defeating yourself. That said, the sandpaper that I usually just use 300 grit. You should work from a higher, a lower number to a higher number. The higher the grit, the finer the tooth, the smoother the finish would be. I don't mind the sanding marks. It kind of helps me when I do my wash to get some texture in the paint. But other people will not. Other people might want a really smooth finish, and then you should go up to all the way up to like 1200 grit. This is just 300 grit, and it works perfectly fine. But I don't want to just stop here and tell you about the grit and knowing when to abandon your paper.